You know, so much time lost. There is nothing that'll give back the birthdays, the graduations, the life that was taken. For 25 years, Eric Simmons sat behind a cell knowing that he didn't belong there.
Well, in May of last year, he was finally exonerated alongside his brother. WMAR 2 News' Eddie Kadam sat down with him exclusively tonight as Simmons shared his struggle to find his new normal outside the four walls that held his innocence for so long.
24 years and 8 months, 25 years.
There are no measures that can give back what was taken from Eric Simmons. Most of his adult life isn't relatable. Talking to people at family gatherings is awkward.
I was like a welcome stranger there. Everybody looking at you, they're talking to you, but they're talking in a way like they don't know about you and they don't. So even at Thanksgiving, everybody was laughing. I snuck off, went upstairs in my cousin's house and went into a back bedroom. And I just stayed up there for about an hour by myself until somebody came looking for me.
Simmons spent 25 years in a jail cell, convicted for a crime that he didn't commit.
This was the same evidence they had 25 years ago.
Even after finally being exonerated last May, grateful isn't the word he would use to describe regaining his freedom.
People would think that if a man just got his freedom, he good, he okay. But not when you've been in there for 25 years. And the thing you knew best was being in there.
Walking from a cell he shouldn't have been in, towards the mirage of a life that he dreamed of.
It was to the point where as though, like, I'll eat in my bedroom and won't go out.
Faith and family are the pillars that hold him up.
They never doubted me, not one time.
And the little things.
I dreamed about McDonald's French fries. And that's every time I go now, I have to get 2 orders.
And Simmons never lost hope that he'd someday taste those fries that are now $2 more than when he went in. The Mid-Atlantic Innocence Project ignited the flame to regain his freedom and fanned it until the day that he got out.
We try to use what we've learned from their cases to ensure that fewer innocent people go to prison and that the innocent people who are there have a way to get out.
Simmons' story is just one of the more than 2,500 wrongful conviction cases in the United States since 1989.
Once the police have a theory, it is very, very difficult, if not impossible, to shake anyone from that theory. So even in cases where, we're looking at it with 20, 30 years of hindsight, we go, well, but this was obvious. How did anyone miss it? It's tunnel vision.
The nonprofit's mission is to prevent and correct the conviction of innocent people. They get around 350 new requests a year, most people writing from their cell, combing through evidence files with a fresh set of eyes, using advances in forensic technology, and reaching out to witnesses.
But we've been very lucky in Baltimore City because we have this incredible partnership with the state's attorney, and that cuts down on the amount of time it takes.
In Simmons' case, it was the word of a scared teenager and a paid police informant. That was enough to convict him and his brother of killing a 21-year-old man that he had never met.
They convicted us on a 13-year-old kid who they coerced, who they took to homicide 6 o'clock in the morning and didn't record a statement to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was one other witness, was a lady who lived around the corner where we found out she was a paid informant.
The 13-year-old later recanted. They were convicted anyway. 25 years and 8 months based on a recanted statement and a testimony of a paid informant.
You try your best to have conversation with your children that would lead them on the right path, but there's so much you can do as a father in prison because you get 30-minute phone calls and an hour visit once a week. That's not a stage for good parenting at all.
How could he feel anything but anger and pain at the beginning?
That's going to eat you up, and that's not a good place to have a bunch of anger, a bunch of resentment, because you got to also survive in there, that you was the one here.
Talking to other exonerees is helping him as he makes the transition.
Like I say, you're the only one in the room that really know how I feel. And to see an exoneree can look in the eyes of another exoneree and understand what's going on right there, that like all innocence was taken away.
24 years and 8 months for a crime he did not commit. Seeking normal, feeling like a tourist in the city that he was born in, hoping he's able to heal. In Baltimore, Eddie Kadam, WMAR 2 News.
I'll make sure you join us on Tuesday night at 11 o'clock for the next part of this series. Eddie's going to talk with a man who spent 40 years in prison before he was let out.
And he's going to actually dive into some of the issues dealing with compensation, the decades of racial injustice that put that man there, and more legislation to improve the system that failed both of these two men.